Omni-Man versus Krillin, one of the most powerful Viltrumites who's ever lived, a true world conqueror, and he's going up against just a normal human from Dragon Ball, Krillin. But who's really gonna be the last one standing? And really, is it even gonna be close? Let's get into it. Now, for this video, we're gonna be kinda using a composite version of Omni-Man, taking the comics, what we've seen from the TV show, and mashing them into one. So all feats apply to figure out just how powerful Nolan is. Just not his feats from Mortal Kombat, of course. And because of that, spoilers ahead from the comics for what lies ahead for the TV show. Now, Omni-Man is a Viltrumite, and we're the largest and most powerful empire throughout the galaxy. And why are the Viltrumites so powerful? Well, it's because they have access to smart atoms, molecularly the same as normal atoms, but they give access to all sorts of powers on the atomic level. And Viltrumites are unique because they can use smart atoms for a whole lot of different powers: super strength, super speed, flight, and they're the only race in the universe to have smart atoms literally encoded inside their DNA. That's what makes them so powerful. And just how powerful are they? Well, with super strength, Nolan Grayson is one of the best. In his fight against Invincible, well, Omni-Man was punching Mark so hard that he was shaking entire mountains, and doing this repeatedly. In fact, Omni-Man was sending Mark flying all over the planet, causing earthquakes each time that he landed. That was against his own son. He was holding back there. Time and time again, he was able to punch through Immortal, ripping him in half, cutting his head off with his bare hand, or even with Thrag's kids. He was able to splatter several kids with each punch he threw. Both the Immortal and those half Viltrumites have some great durability feats. Nolan is still leagues above them. Then there's also the time where Omni-Man claimed they managed to stop an asteroid the size of Texas. Just think about that for a second. An asteroid the size of Texas. That's a planet-destroying extinction level event right there. That'll be about 7 billion metric tons of meteor he had to stop, not even taking into account acceleration or anything like that. That lines up with what Nolan has done in the comics, where him, Mark, and Thaddeus teamed up to destroy the planet Viltrum, a planet that's roughly twice the size of Earth. Now, sure, that's 2 other Viltrumites helping him there, and Space Racer shot the planet with his gun in order to destabilize the core. But still, that's a multi-continental feat at least. Omni-Man is seriously powerful. In fact, Omni-Man is arguably one of the strongest Viltrumites you're ever gonna see. He's a trusted officer who was given the duty to conquer a planet all by himself. And true, old, accomplished Viltrumites like that are in a tier all their own. Like Conquest, we can casually bust out of solid 400-ton solid steel blocks encasing all around his body, as well as 6 miles of earth caving in on top of him. Omni-Man is still more powerful. In fact, the only Viltrumite we ever saw definitively prove he was stronger than Omni-Man was Thrag, and he did it pretty definitively. And that actually leads us into our next point: durability. And again, it's something that Viltrumites are great at. And Omni-Man is one of the best of all of them. He's been pretty much unaffected by any attacks from Immortal. He was unaffected by any of the attacks from Invincible during their first fight too. And in fact, Omni-Man has regularly been able to take attacks from all sorts of different Viltrumites and not really gone down or been all that injured. He's actually so tough that, like we said, even other Viltrumites legit just splatter against him on impact. He's taken massive nuclear lasers and survived it completely unscathed, even taking nukes at point blank range, not even being slowed down. Now, all this isn't to say that Omni-Man can't be damaged. He can, and he's taken some absolutely devastating attacks in the past. He's been beaten up by several Viltrumites as they double, triple teamed him. Then in pretty much every fight that he's ever had with Thrag, well, he usually ends up nearly on the brink of death. The first fight, well, he ultimately got overpowered and was straight disemboweled when Thrag punched his hand through Omni-Man's body. Omni-Man still survived. Another fight, well, Thrag beat Omni-Man so bad that his eye straight up popped out of his skull. Still survived. He went against Thrag a third time too, was nearly torn in half. Still managed to keep himself alive. So basically, Nolan has an incredibly impressive healing factor and can survive almost any injury. But 2, well, it takes a whole heck of a lot to actually injure him or put him down. Just because Omni-Man can take nearly any attack or any injury and just refuses to go down or be killed. His durability is just simply off the charts. And pretty much any injury he does take, well, he can heal from it. The only way that Omni-Man can actually be completely put down is by damaging his heart enough where his heart can't help with the healing and repair. But everything outside of that, and I mean everything, Nolan is gonna survive it. Then even simply with speed, Omni-Man, like all other Viltrumites, has the ability to move well above the speed of light. He was able to slaughter all the Guardians of the Globe in just moments, despite having a super speedster of their own in Red Rush. In the comics, Omni-Man put down the Guardians even faster. They didn't even have the chance to react to his attacks. He's well faster than Invincible during their first fight. Invincible is legitimately moving in slow motion, and he's well faster than other Viltrumites too. Then even just simply flying around, Nolan is much faster than the speed of light. When he left Earth, he decided to travel to another planet with life, and that journey took him about a week. But not just any planet, but a planet in the Virgo supercluster, which is 65 million light years away from the Earth. He traveled that span in just about a week, making him massively, massively faster than the speed of light. No questions asked. And all these powers, his strength, his speed, even his durability, is best put on display when Omni-Man decided to completely and utterly destroy the Flaxen Empire. And I do mean completely destroy it. He flew through a continent-sized city fast enough to where he was literally causing nuclear-level destruction as he flew around. Basically, how that works is that as he reached light speed, or even just under the speed of light, Nolan was hitting molecules and atoms in the air with so much speed and force that it's causing nuclear fusion, leveling continent-sized cities and sending the entire planet back to the Stone Age. He just kept 3 of them alive in order to send him back, and then killed them too. In short, whether it's in the show or the comics, Omni-Man has just been able to consistently prove that he's not only the most powerful being on Earth, but he's just regularly proven himself to be one of the most powerful Viltrumites as well. Krillin is one of the most powerful and talented martial artists on Earth, Goku's best friend and a prominent Z fighter, even though Krillin does tend to get overpowered by a lot of the major enemies. But don't let that fool you, Krillin is seriously powerful. Like, despite looking weak in comparison to constantly being surrounded by Saiyans, Krillin is the strongest warrior from Earth and is an extremely skilled fighter, especially with his rather unorthodox fighting style. Starting out while Krillin, through his training, scales above Master Roshi, who can obliterate the entire moon in just one shot. Even more, during the Saiyan arc, while Krillin was able to kill 5 Saibamen at once with his scattering bullet technique, with each of these Saibamen being stated to be just as strong as Raditz, Goku's brother. And at that time, well, Raditz was able to beat Goku and Piccolo at the same time, and Piccolo has also already shown off the ability to casually blow up the moon at just a power level of 322. And Krillin is able to take down 5 Saibamen at once at a power level of 1700. And we're truly just getting started, because Krillin goes to planet Namek, and there he gets his potential unleashed. And when this happens, well, Krillin goes from a power level of 1700 all the way up to 13,000, so over 10 times more powerful. And at this point, Krillin's power level is actually even stronger than the King of the Saiyans. King Vegeta, while suppressed, had a power level of 10,000. He was able to vaporize 3 planets just by lifting his hand. Well, Krillin is at 13,000 here, and he only gets more and more powerful. He's able to fight against Frieza's elite fighters, even fighting Captain Ginyu in Goku's body, who had a power level of 23,000. Then Frieza himself comes in at a power level of 530,000 and transforms into his second form, reaching over 1 million. But Krillin isn't backing down. He actually uses his Destructo Disc against Frieza and very nearly killed Frieza. Krillin had a power level of 75,000 at this moment, so that means he's able to literally one-shot opponents who are still 13 times more powerful than himself. And again, it only gets more impressive from there. Fast forward to the Tournament of Power, when the Omni Kings of the Dragon Ball universe want to hold a fighting tournament, where 10 of the strongest fighters from 8 universes had to battle to defend their world from being erased. And Universe 7 needs their strongest warriors in order to win, and Krillin is chosen. In training to prepare for the tournament, Krillin battles against best friend Goku. He's actually able to push Goku throughout the fight. Sure, Goku is definitely holding back some, but still, Krillin is able to catch Goku off guard, injure him in the fight, and force Goku to use Super Saiyan in order to save himself from being knocked out of bounds. And remember, this is the same Goku who, in a much weaker state, had threatened to destroy the entirety of Universe 7 with just his punches. In the Tournament of Power, Krillin actually does pretty good. He was able to team up with Android 18 to battle against Shosa, a being who was almost able to defeat 18 and knock her out of the arena, implying that Krillin may have caught up with Android 18 in power. Jump forward again to the events of the Dragon Ball superhero movie, and now Cell Max has been let loose and is destroying everyone in his way. Like, Cell Max here is seriously powerful, one of the most powerful villains we've ever seen, and Krillin is actually able to help out in the fight, using his solar flare and even helping to catch Cell Max's foot alongside Orange Piccolo. So yeah, for just being a normal human, well, no doubt about it, Krillin is a rival to the gods. So, who's winning here? Well, let's break it down. Now, obviously, no questions about it. It's Krillin. He should dominate this fight and just smoke Omni-Man. In some ways, it's not even a debate worth having, because at the end of the day, Omni-Man tops out at just planetary. That's literally the highest that you can scale him. And even that is kinda debatable. Because remember, while Omni-Man did help destroy a planet twice the size of Earth, there are a lot of caveats that go in with this feat. Like it took 2 other Viltrumites to do it, and Space Racer had to shoot the planet with his gun in order to destabilize the core, or else they wouldn't have even been able to do it, and might have been killed in the process. Compare that with Krillin, it's literally not even close. Like, literally forever ago, Piccolo was able to casually destroy a moon with 1 blast, with the shockwave of that blast being felt all the way back on Earth. And Krillin is able to take down 5 guys stronger than this with just 1 move. And that was before his potential was even unleashed, because then he was compared to King Vegeta, who could blow up 3 planets with just a wave of his hand. And again, Krillin just got way more powerful from here. This is already a stomp, not even factoring in just how much more powerful Krillin is nowadays. It would just be as simple as a solar flare, and then followed up by a Destructo Disc. There's truly nothing that Omni-Man can do about it. Krillin just so massively outscales Omni-Man here that he would win with ease. Krillin takes it.